Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm ready for Preptober. Are you? Quick reminder here at the top that this is an inclusive space where Black Lives Matter and we are anti-Asian hate. That means you are safe here in the video with me and in the comments below, where no hate speech of any kind will be tolerated. If there's anything that we can do to make our content more inclusive or accessible, please let us know down in the comments, or you can shoot me an email. It is officially October. It is officially time to start preparing for your National Novel Writing Month. You have 31 glorious autumnal days, or I guess by the time you watch this, like 28 or 27, but whatever. You've still got plenty of time. So let's talk about how you and I are going to tackle the biggest writing challenge of the year. Quick breakdown if you're brand new to Nanowrimo or Preptober or both and have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. National Novel Writing Month is Nanowrimo. Every November, people sit down at their computers, their typewriters, their pencil pads, I guess, and they try to write 50,000 words of a brand new novel idea. If you're a Nano Rebel, you can be editing 50,000 words, you can be writing 50,000 words of poetry, or any other writing idea that you come up with, just 50,000 words that are new. Preptober is a slightly newer idea, and it's not an official event, but it's the month before National Novel Writing Month, October, where you prepare for NaNoWriMo. So Preptober. There are a lot of unofficial guides and videos. I have one of my own and lots of ideas about getting ready for NaNoWriMo with a little bit more wiggle room than sitting down on November 1st and starting completely fresh. Personally, I am a recovering pantser. I've been doing National Novel Writing Month for a little over a decade now, and I used to pride myself on sitting down early November and kind of winging it. I can't say how many of those book ideas ever really panned out well for me. So in the last couple of years, I've been learning a lot more about plotting and taking a lot more time to develop my characters and setting and the arc of my story in order to come out of November with 50,000 brand new words of an idea that I'm actually proud of and want to return to with the intention of actually editing what I've created. So last year's Preptober video, I did a bit of a plan with me. I went through my NaNoWrimo binder and showed you how I kind of Frankensteined together a bunch of different planning guides and got ready for the month that way. And this year, I'm not doing much different, so you can go back and watch that Plan With Me video from last year. This year, I'm going to talk about making sure that you don't get overwhelmed by all the different workbook options and guidebooks that are available, because I think sometimes that can be really paralyzing. I know it can trip me up pretty often. So let's talk about some of my favorite Preptober workbooks and how to make the abundance of options work for you. So there are a few things that you're going to need in order to write a book. You need characters, you need a setting, you need a plot, whatever plot that is. You need a genre, and if your ultimate reader is just you, then you don't have to worry so much about the market or making something that other people are going to enjoy. But if you're planning to edit this book and self-publish, traditionally publish, go with an indie publisher, have other people besides yourself read this book, then you should pick a genre that'll help guide you through your plot and decide on a few beats that you absolutely have to hit in order to satisfy your reader. In order to do that, I recommend reading some craft books. There's a ton of material out there by Reader's Digest and other wonderful publishing houses. That being said, there are also a lot of options for planners available online, and my light is kind of blocking out some of these pages, but basically I have 3 or 4 different planners printed out here. And NaNoWrimo itself also has a NaNoWrimo 101 prep course that actually starts 6 weeks before NaNoWrimo. So if you're following that calendar or that course, you're going to start midway through September. A couple of other people that have put out really great workbooks are Natalia Lee, Sarah Cannon with Heart Breathings. Abby Emmons has How to Take a Messy Idea and Turn It Into an Outline for a Book. Every topic about writing, writer's block, and writing successes has been written about by one author or another at some point, and it's either available in print or on the internet. If you're setting out with the goal to read absolutely everything available, you are on a fool's errand. You want to narrow down your search terms and make sure you are addressing your specific problems. For me, A problem that I really struggled to even admit that I was having was that I have not done a ton of research on writing plot. And I kept coming up against an idea that I would really love and would dive into the world building or the character development. And then I'd get about midway through Act 2, and then I would kind of fall on my face. And I didn't know how to wrap up that plot. So I set out with the very specific goal this October of picking just one book. So I'm reading The Plot Whisperer this October, along with my character development and setting development, which I feel I've got a pretty good grasp on. So, okay, you've narrowed down your problems or your questions about writing, and now you're ready to dive in. How do you decide that you don't need to print out all of these and then fill them out? For me, it's been a matter of trial and error. Some things are repeated, like the idea of picking a name for your character, understanding their age and how that changes maybe their decision-making process, whether or not your story is going to have a romance storyline. I read a really great book a couple of months ago called Romancing the Beat that helps explain the beats of a story that you need to hit in order to satisfy romance readers. So look up Preptober workbooks or Preptober YouTube videos, cherry pick the pieces that work for you and leave behind the rest. This week's advice Jen can dish out but she can't take is you don't need to fill out every workbook that you find. It's going to give you a headache. It's going to waste your time. And if you're redoing the same things that you already know you're good at, you're not challenging yourself and you're not going to get better as a writer. So do scary things. Nano can be a really intense challenge, especially if you've never done it before. So Preptober can really help ease some of that tension and give you time to build mood boards or Spotify playlists to help get you in the mood of whatever story you're writing. This week I've put together a little workbook that's free on my Patreon about creating your reading or research list that help you think about your book idea a little more deeply for Preptober and Nanowrimo. So the workbook that I put together helps walk you through where to look for source material and research while getting ready for Preptober and Nanowrimo. Okay, I hear you, person on the other side of the screen. You have a huge writing project on your hands, and I want you to think about reading. Believe it or not, that is an incredibly important part of being a writer. I absolutely subscribe to Stephen King's theory that if you don't have time to read, you don't have time to write. Anytime that I feel like my writing well has dried up and I'm kind of out of ideas or I need a little bit of a boost, I turn to my favorite authors. They have been in the same place that I have been, and they have kept going and eventually got published. So while I don't recommend that you put together a list of 50 books that you want to read while also writing 50,000 words in 30 days, I do recommend that you keep a tally of those books and think about coming back to them in December when you're a little burnt out on your book and want to refill that well. However you choose to use your reading list, I think this is an integral part of the writing process, and hopefully my workbook will help you come up with a useful reading list for yourself. So yeah, Preptober is only helpful if you make it helpful. If you make it turn into a chore, or it actually ends up distracting you from your writing, or makes you burnt out and defeated before you even get to Nanowrimo, then it's probably not a great idea for you. But if you're smart about it and you pick and choose the elements that other people recommend and create maybe your own workbook, then wonderful. Make sure not to bite off more than you can chew and focus on this one project. Whether or not you end up with an actual draft of a book at the end of November is kind of irrelevant, to be honest. What matters is that you have written 50,000 more words than you did before. I can tell you, after doing this for 13 years now, no 2 Novembers have been the same for me. I have not succeeded every single year. And I have talked with tons of other writers who have both succeeded and failed and all had different methods, different plans, different genres. So there is no one clear-cut way to win National Novel Writing Month. And as long as you are happy with what you created, then it's a win, no matter how many words you wrote. All right, I'm going to go get started on not filling out every single piece of paper that is on my desk right now. Just to remind you, we are going to have weekly vlogs here on the channel all through Preptober and NaNoWriMo, updating you on my progress on the project and helping you hopefully make progress on your own. I will put a link to a few really wonderful writing communities that have helped me in the past and have continued to help me even in non-nano times down in the description below, so that hopefully you can find your writing community this year, in addition to writing 50,000 words in 30 days. I will also include the link to my free workbook down in the description below. It'll be available on my Patreon, patreon.com/writewithapendragon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked this video, drop us a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button right down below. Don't forget to ring the bell to make sure that you are notified every single time there's new content on this channel. I will see you guys next week. Have a great October and Preptober. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.
Are you always this articulate?
Hercules. My name is Hercules.